Hello, I'm Tolu Adeoye with the latest from Look North. Labour came to Hull today to rally against changes to housing benefits. They've dubbed the so-called bedroom tax cruel, but the government says it will save millions of pounds and free up rooms for those in need. And thousands of people are expected in Grimsby tomorrow to welcome the Duchess of Cambridge. She'll visit the National Fishing Heritage Museum, a fire station and the Havelock Academy. Doctors say the best way for obese women to protect their health and their babies is to lose weight before becoming pregnant. Once pregnant, health problems for obese women can include high blood pressure, diabetes, and mothers are more likely to miscarry or need an assisted delivery.
Obviously there's lots of complications for those ladies, so it does put a lot of pressure on the hospital.
How big is the operation to find Mrs Brewster?
Well, police are taking this very seriously. Searches have been going on since Mrs Brewster was reported missing on the 15th of April. The underwater search unit has already been out checking waterways in the area, but today they're out again, specifically to check the moored Foster drain near Mrs Brewster's home on Fishtoft Road, and that's where she was last seen. The moment two armed men raided a jeweller's in Beverley. Staff at Guest & Phillips had just opened up when their daily routine was dramatically interrupted.
One of them pointed what looked to be a sawn-off shotgun at me and told me to get into the other room, and they'd already got all the staff lying on the floor, whereby they then smashed the cabinets with an axe and grabbed as many watches as they could.
These Cartier watches are very similar to those that were taken by the robbers. Now, they can range in price from £3,000 to £25,000. The robbers managed to get away with 37 of them. Last year, Hull City was one of the most expensive teams to watch in the Championship. Now the club's in the Premier League, it's one of the cheapest. A day out here would cost you about £30. That includes a programme, a cup of tea, a pie and, of course, a match ticket.
If I was just going to see a couple of games, I do think £30 to £50 is quite reasonable. Not if you're going to every game, I think it's quite expensive.
My son and my grandchildren go, and it just gets quite a bit expensive actually.
Tolu is at the stadium right now. How surprising is it that generally ticket prices have actually fallen during the last year for football?
Well, Peter, the fans I've spoken to today were surprised that things are generally cheaper. The FA chairman, Greg Dyke, has said that the price cuts show that clubs are simply responding to the tough economic times faced by many of their supporters. So it is good news for fans, many of whom will pack out this stadium behind me to cheer on Hull City when they play Cardiff on Saturday. And they'll be here, Peter, no matter the cost.
Tolu, thank you very much indeed. I'm sure that they will. Thank you very much indeed.
GPs are warning that thousands of patients in rural parts of our area could lose their surgeries because of changes to government funding. Ministers say money should be shared more evenly across all practices. And this Skegness car park has been closed after more than 100 travellers set up camp. East Lindsey District Council says it started legal proceedings. The results are in. For some, there's celebration, for others, disappointment. So what next? For Billy Hesketh from Louth, the answer was an apprenticeship. He started his straight after his GCSEs 3 years ago. Now he's an engineer.
Managed to get on the apprenticeship with my qualifications, but we did extra qualifications, so I got my English GCSE, which I failed to get while I was at school. The apprenticeship gave me all the training that I needed, and I learned from what I was doing with the college and what I was doing at work.
The government wants more people to follow Billy's path. Research shows that young people who learn for longer by going to places like Hull College end up doing better in the world of work. It's hoped raising the age when they can leave formal education from 16 to 17 will give everyone a better chance to succeed.
How are the preparations going?
Well, things are running on time. Of course, organisers would probably be hoping for slightly better weather than we've got today. 75,000 people came to the festival last year and they're hoping for record crowds again over the next 3 days. There'll be music, arts, theatre, comedy and dance for people to enjoy. A very abnormal load. For a time this morning, cars made way for a jet as this Blackburn Buccaneer was taken from Brough to Elvington. People lined the streets to bid farewell. It had been at the BAE site for 20 years.
It's, well, like an end of an era, isn't it?
We've been waiting all over, waiting for it to come up so we can take some photographs. Not far away now.
With the site being redeveloped, the company donated the plane to the Yorkshire Air Museum. Unsurprisingly, moving it was a logistical challenge.
Plans have been going on for months, really. We're leaving Brough with Humberside Police escorting us. They'll take us to the M62. We hit West Yorkshire then, but North Yorkshire Police are escorting us all the way along the M62, up the A1 and along the A64.
They can attack at such low level that enemy radar can't detect them.
The Buccaneer was a British strike aircraft that served with the Royal Navy and later the Air Force. It was designed and first produced in Brough in 1958. It's taken about 2.5 hours to get the Buccaneer from Brough to the museum, a journey of about 65 miles. If the jet had been flying, it would have taken just 3 minutes. Spreading their wings, Lincoln Cathedral's newest arrivals have finally taken to the sky.
It's been absolutely incredible. I had the male flying overhead with a juvenile just below him, some 15 feet below, calling at one another, and he was just sort of shepherding the juvenile back to the tower, back to the nest site.
The chicks will be hungrier than ever now they're getting more exercise. Lucky that Dad's on hand to bring dinner. The RSPB has been monitoring the birds since they hatched almost 7 weeks ago. And it's not just in Lincoln that peregrines have been breeding. Pairs have been busy all over the UK with webcams in place, keeping watch. The event was really about showing off the type of thing that Hull can look forward to if it is named the UK City of Culture. Now, bosses say now's the time to really get behind the bid, and they're urging local people to get involved. A preview of what's to come if Hull is named UK City of Culture. The mini performance from Ballet Lorraine marked the start of the Back the Bid campaign.
Hull's got a great chance to win UK City of Culture, but we have to prove that the city needs it and the city wants it, and the people's support is really crucial to that.
This year's lineup has been billed as the best yet. There are 8 celebrities that Kevin can be partnered with. They include presenter Vanessa Feltz, Countdown star Rachel Riley, singer and model Sophie Ellis-Bextor, and BBC Breakfast host Susanna Reid. At home, on stage in Scunthorpe. It was a full house for the Ruin Brothers' last gig before they head for Glastonbury. And in amongst the crowd, the father whose record collection inspired them.
When they were very young, I used to play songs going back to the early 60s, right through the 70s, 80s, right up to present day. What makes me proud is seeing that the crowd are enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Music lovers have packed out this venue to see the local band that's winning fans across the country. But it's bittersweet because if things go really well for the Ruin Brothers, gigs like this one at home could become rarer.